Welcome to another episode of Real Talk with Real Fit Pros. It's your boy, Jonathan Loudermilk, and I've got my partner in crime, Mark, the Fitness Ninja Zalmanoff. And before we kick off the show with a very special guest, I need you to do me a favor. It's the same thing I ask you every episode, so don't act like you haven't heard this before because you're going to hear it on the next episode too. I need you to do all the things so that we can help our fellow brothers and sisters go get what they're worth. So go ahead, hit the like button, hit the subscribe, leave us a 5-star review. We show up every week for you. Can you show up for us for 5 minutes? Just 5 minutes. Nice little review. And also, if you see us on Instagram, go ahead and screenshot this and tag us at the Fit Pro Bros. And as always, welcome to the show. How's it going, Mark? How you doing, buddy?
You know, it's going fabulous. You know that we're currently doing a fundraiser. If you're listening to this, let's see. We're recording this on August 4th. Our fundraiser ends on August 5th, thank God, because we have a shit ton of burpees that we have committed to doing. And John, your coach, Dante, our homie, he's participating in this. So if you happen to be listening to this on August 5th, we'll share a link somewhere. You can go donate. You can help kids get shoes on their feet, brand new shoes to start the school year. And there's about a dozen of us Fit Pros that have committed to doing burpees. It's like at 1,100 burpees a piece right now.
Oh, I know. We should keep, if you want to distribute those towards Dante. I'm told.
Oh, he's got his 1,100 to do as well.
I meant like we could re-share like more his way.
Oh man. All right. Anyway, so we have another fantastic guest on this show. And you know, this is interesting. So we got connected with this guy through another guest of ours, and he's a fellow Fit Pro. And we directed him to go look at the show a little bit. And he's like, oh man, I know Dante. Hey, I know Steve Kuklo. Yes. And we were just talking before we got on here about our interview with Tony Tavares, who's a bodybuilder. And so it's really, it's cool for us to see the quality of people that we're able to get on this show and share things with you guys, because we're all just trying to get better. And at the end of the day, that's the name of the game, whether it's business, life, whatever, serving our clients. That's really the goal here. So this gentleman that we have on today, he's a life and body transformation coach. He's a vegan bodybuilder. We're definitely going to talk about that, and we'll probably make fun of him. I'm just kidding. He is married to an amazing woman named Amy. They have fur babies. We got 4 fur babies up in this house. And he is an enthusiastic person in life. This is actually the first time that John and I are meeting with him, and I can already tell this is going to be a great episode. So ladies and gentlemen, Kenneth Whitacre, thanks for joining us, sir.
Thank you guys for having me. I'm super excited about today.
This is going to be awesome. So as you know, we always start this show with a funny, hopefully inappropriate story. So what do you got for us?
The bars was set high. I got a few prior episode stories sent to me. So if we're talking about inappropriateness the bar was set quite high for me. I won't hit it today, but the bar was high. My funny story is actually one that's kind of spread through my circle and kind of my family. It was actually has to do with me proposing to my wife. I was actually getting our ring made through a private jeweler. So I had some family jewels and some metals. And so we were getting it made, and me and my wife are pretty open with like phones and communication. So I start getting text from the jeweler. Hey, it's ready. I got pictures. I'm planning something to propose to my wife. My wife notices I'm kind of on my phone more than normal. So she starts tagging along on trips a lot more. So the jeweler text me, it's ready. I go to the gym to pick up the ring. And my wife's like, I need to go with you. And I'm like, please, let me make this trip by myself. I need to do this one, just me. And she's like, not a chance, not a chance. I'm running with you. So we're going to the gym together, and I have to stop by the jeweler to make some changes. So I pick up the ring, and I just have it in my pocket. Like, she's got no idea I'm picking up this, but we're still heading to the gym. So at this point, I don't really know what to do. My wife's wanting to make sure I'm not doing anything fishy. I've got the engagement ring in my pocket as we're driving to the gym. I'm like taking pre-workout, super nervous, sweating. I mean, I'm a mess. And my wife's like, what's going on? You're really, so we start lifting. I'm trying to get through this process. The ring is still in my pocket. I'm like trying to get through this. And I was just like, I guess this is the moment. I can't hide this anymore. So no plans, no anything. I get down in the middle of the gym and just propose to my wife there, because she had come on the trip with me that I had hopefully planned something later for this ring proposal. Didn't happen right there in the gym. And it wasn't because we're both gym goers, just simply because my wife had to tag along the trip of picking up the ring. So that would be my funny gym story. I don't have too much inappropriateness, but in with like my family, my wife's kind of been tagged as she didn't let me like do the real engagement. It just happened at the gym for us.
That's awesome, man. Did the members kind of stop and kind of pause and watch you guys?
Well, we were actually like at the gym, and I just like parked the car, and I'm like standing there, and I'm just in the parking lot, and we're kind of just like walking, and I'm nervous, and I just like dropped in the parking lot. So there wasn't a lot of people around us, but I was just like, really like stuttering on everything. I didn't plan anything. I was like driving nervously to the gym. And I'm like, I guess I have to do this now. I have this bulging box in my pocket. I can't like hide this at all. How am I going to do this? I can't get through a workout with it in my pocket. So it happened just at the gym. There was the engagement right there.
Well, you closed the deal. That's the most
Closed the
important
deal.
part.
Yes. We're 3 years later now, and it's been phenomenal. But she definitely, every once in a while, that story gets brought up and gets ragged on just a little bit.
So we'll just relate that to sales real quick, because imperfect action wins every time, doesn't it? I knew John would like that one.
Absolutely.
So Kenneth, let's get into this a little bit. You are a
Please.
coach. Tell us a little bit about what your business structure is currently.
Yes.
Who your ideal clients are, how you serve them, and then we'll just kind of go from there.
So initially when COVID happened, I was training at Lifetime. I was an assistant manager down here at Lifetime. Had a good business. I mean, I was doing well. I had put experience talking sales and everything kind of put together, and Lifetime's kind of the car salesman of fitness. And so I was doing well, making good money. And then COVID overnight, it was a Wednesday for us, and we went home, and we didn't hear anything until when they started bringing people back. And that was probably 6 or 7 months later. And I left a team of 30 plus, and they brought back less than 10. So COVID really kind of shut down the commercial businesses where I had built a living. So I moved into initially what I was most beneficial or good at, and that was just bodybuilding in the gym. So my clientele initially became prep clients. Now, as I do things, I call it the Authentik method, and it's just more or less the way that I will go through the experience of what it is like being a client with me, what they can go through. And then now I've moved into the life coaching and more true body transformation along with competitors, because I think the same habits, if you kind of implement it in numerous different ways, you can end up getting success in anything we end up giving direction to. If that's losing weight or business, I think they're the same habits. So I've moved into more of a life coaching and body transformation clientele now.
It's awesome, man.
Yeah.
And it's so true. How you do one thing is how you do everything. We're just talking about that with Tony when he was on the show.
Yes. I mean, you look at, he's in roofing, like that's something that is accessible to everybody. And the only way you separate yourself is the experience you give to the consumer. And I think as a trainer, it is that way where, I mean, you can Google anything, you can search anything. Siri will tell you anything that I'm going to tell you, but the experience that I give to who I interact with is why they end up seeing changes. They're wanting me to produce the ability to get them to change something in their lives. So we really dive into, mental psychology and emotional stability and, food triggers or, stress and sleep. And we really dive into a really holistic programming with my clients. And so, again, whether you're wanting to implement higher sales in business, or you're wanting a more successful marriage, or you're wanting, losing body fat, if we can get the goal, implement the game plan, and make adjustments where we need to, you end up being successful in anything you want to do.
Yeah. And the coolest part, man, about that story you're sharing is when COVID hit, that was the make or break for a lot of our brothers and sisters. Like the people that leaned into it and pivoted, they're having their best year right now.
Agreed.
The people that folded and crumbled, they're not in the industry anymore. You know,
Agreed.
so to hear a successful story of you going, okay, I'm going to take this as an opportunity to kind of rethink what I'm doing and kind of ultimately go out on my own and add this other component to it. Dude, that's what Getting What You're Worth is all about. That's phenomenal.
Yes. Thank you.
So let's talk about that a little bit. You know, I'm a gym owner as well. I have brick and mortar. So for optics purposes, I shut down for a few weeks. I wasn't shut down for 6
optics
or 6 months.
Purpose.
Hey, we're in Texas, baby. It smells like food all damn day. So, you know, I definitely understand the mindset of like what was going on in that time. Obviously, so much was uncertain across the board. We know a lot more now, but so talk a little bit about the gym shuts down, you're sent home. So what's going through your head in those first couple of weeks as we start to understand this is going to be a lot longer than we think it is? And where was the moment where you're like, all right, I got to move. I got to take action now.
Well, I think in the first 30 days, I really saw, I think we all saw almost panic. It was like people were searching for, help me guide through the unknown of what's moving forward. And so a lot of my clients, we talk about like, what are you reading? What's your audio? Like, we weren't even talking the fitness stuff. It was like, I think just being so secluded, we were tackling more in fitness at that time that had to do with psychology more than calories in or calories out. Like, it was helping the person, you know, keep a positive mindset and keep things away from the fear side of the mindset and working through, you know, we can make positive changes daily, and we just tackle each day to day because, you know, 30 days into leaving the gym, none of us knew what was going to happen. I mean, none of us knew what 6 months was going to unfold or a year going to unfold. So I equally, you know, left the gym. Granted, I was blessed to where there was a time period where I was able to do some unemployment through lifetime. So financially, I was able to equally make a move to where I could dive into, you know, really prep clients and really diving into the education with them and really diving into being able to build a really nice community that wanted a holistic style approach to COVID's happened. I've gained 10 or 15 pounds that I didn't want to gain. I'm really unhappy. I'm struggling with being alone, and I'm struggling with not interaction, and I'm struggling with seclusion, and then getting to a point of there is some light at the end of the tunnel, and then just helping them get to the end of the tunnel to where now, I mean, I've been this way, had a really nice, beautiful business for 6+ months now. I mean, I think when we were able to dive in and start seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, if you prepped yourself to be successful when that time came, you did. I mean, every month I was growing exponentially over and over and over because I was prepared when the time came that we got a little breathing room. Like for the brick and mortar, it was nice if you were one of the places that did stay, because and now I see, especially in a place like Hearing What You Run, those people now have built a community. Like that's who they, you know, they go to kids' birthday parties together now, and they care about each other. And now that's become more than just a calories in, calories situation. It is almost a family because everyone was struggling with the same problem. And then if you went to the gym, you therapied the same way with all these people. I mean, there was an old term at Destination where I was at up there in Dallas, you know, iron sharpens iron. That's what we were doing. We're lost. We're all lost. We're all worried. Let's get to the gym and sweat together. Let's be a community in that manner. And I think, especially for mine, you know, my authentic family and my clients, like we are a family. It is. I had one of my clients' son played in the state championship game, football game. My entire team went to the game just to support him. Like it was now I'm here to support you because we grinded through a tough time together. It was like we all became like a fitness team, if we're being honest, in that time. Did you experience that in your gym, Mark?
Absolutely. You know, my people couldn't wait to get back. I mean, as soon as I was like, hey, I'm going to start slowly opening back some hours, everyone's like, just tell me when I can show up.
Yes.
Because, you know, we've been that type of community for a while. So they miss their friends, and they miss, you know, there's power in shared suffering. So, you know, when people go through things together and come out of it better together, there's a bonding agent that you can't put a price tag on it. You can't recreate it if you try, none of that happens. And what I'm hearing from you, and this is where I think, we talk about the separation that happened in every industry, but, in ours, we see it, you led with a servant attitude.
Yeah.
You didn't go hide. You went, okay, how can I help? And I think that's what Jon and I have seen repeatedly, is the ones that were like, all right, well, fuck it. Things are weird now. Let's go help somebody. Let's just go help. I don't even, you don't need to have the answers. I was doing Zoom happy hours
Yes.
with my clients just so we could see each other.
Yes.
It had nothing to do with fitness. I was like, hey, everybody go grab a drink. We're just going to sit around and chat.
Yes.
But that servant attitude that you're leading with is why you're successful right now, and being able to lean into what your true strengths in our industry are as well.
Yes.
I think we get led by money sometimes, and that's not always a bad thing. We got to pay the bills, but when you have a skill set and you're finally allowed to truly lean into that skill set. So for you being that bodybuilding realm, it's a very specific niche of people, but
Yes.
man, there's a dedication behind that. And we know people are willing to invest to get the training and the leadership and the mindset and all that stuff that they need. So, again, kudos to you for truly just embracing that and then going after it. I love it. I love it.
Thank you.
How did you get into bodybuilding in the first place?
So it started there in Dallas, where you guys are from. Initially, I had left. I was actually a cheerleader in college, and I was cheering at Texas Tech. And I had just left Texas Tech and then moved to Dallas. And weirdly, just due to a relationship, I had a girlfriend at the time take me over to Metroflex Plano, which was the original location prior to Destination.
Yeah, let me Metroflex.
Dude, I was 22 walking into Metroflex at the first time. I was like, what the? Branch Warren was there, Johnny Jackson, Steve Kuklo. Like, the minute I saw Steve Kuklo, I was like, whatever that is, I just like that's it. And being able to get into a point, I started working at the front desk, talking with these guys, started spending a lot of time with these guys. I ended up, we became, again, suffering together, especially in a little gym like that. It's the garage style. That's like,
yep.
As CrossFit, throw up the doors. I even think there was times like the walls were sweating. It was so hot in there. And then business owner wise, Greg McCoy was the owner of Metroflex Plano there. And then he made an interaction with a gentleman named Michael Johansson, who was the owner of Gasp and Better Bodies. And that's when Destination became a thing. And that's when I was able, kind of blessed, to be a part of that opening. I saw, Dana Lynn Bailey and Steve Kuklo did a photo shoot there. And so many pros I was 22, 23, 24. I was just surrounded by greatness. And I think at the time, unknowingly making a really smart decision where I just shut the hell up and started learning everything I could learn. I realized just by looking at the guy's arm next to me that clearly I did not know enough. When you have Steve Kuklo sitting next to you and the guy's got 22-inch arms and you're huge, eating and he's taking up 2.5 chairs, you're kind of this is a time when I just need to be the student. So I was blessed into just being the student around, some of the greatest that I think probably the sports scene, definitely Dallas, Texas has seen. It just so beautiful in that. So I dove in pretty hard. Started growing a business. Ray at that time, who was Tony DeVeres' coach, owned a supplement shop there in Destination. So we equally started connecting, and we just started equally growing businesses as young dudes that were just interested in bodybuilding. At that time, there wasn't a large amount of prep coaches or extreme training coaches really in the Dallas area. And especially at our age, we were under 25 years old, but we were being shown so much so fast and soaking everything up. It was just, we were blessed in it. So I got addicted to it personally, if I'm being honest. And I got addicted to, at that time, I was equally dealing with some emotional turmoil of myself. And it's how I started my therapy. I remember back in the day really going through legs. I had a tough day and it was let's go do legs. And by the end of that leg day, I had worked through it. So I had started, I think, building my habits and lifestyle, even mental stability around bodybuilding. And then as I worked through those moments, I was able to have bodybuilding become a passion. And now, I mean, almost 10 years later into it, I couldn't imagine myself doing anything else. It's my world. It's everything I love. Yeah.
Dude, it's pretty awesome you were able to get around that at such a young age. I unfortunately have had to get that in my later years, but I always think like, man, if I had what I have now back then, oh my God. So like to be able to have that experience and be, like you said, surrounded by greatness, dude, that's awesome. And I think it's just a great point to, me and Mark talk about this all the time, is you truly do become the sum of those you spend the most time with. So be very cautious of, are these people adding value? Or are these people not adding value, and taking inventory of that list?
Yes.
And also knowing when to, like you said, when to just shut up.
Yeah.
And absorb, because, that same thing goes for Jon and I. Like, we position ourselves around people that we know have more of what we crave in life. So we get around them, we ask questions, and we shut our mouths, and we listen, and we absorb, and we learn, and then we implement. Yes. So, having that type of perspective that young too is not very common, especially in the fitness realm, where ego can definitely rule the day.
And I'm not going to say there was this like honorable young dude in me that was like, I realize where I'm at, I need to take this in. It was literally just when Branch Warren is working out next to you.
Yeah.
Shut up. Like
alphas recognize alphas.
Yeah.
Like he's going to eat me.
Yes. It was, and what I was reading on Google is not what was getting communicated to me was actually being done by pros. So I equally realized like I could search as much as I wanted, but I wasn't getting the info that I was getting from pros. Talk a cool story. That moment, Per Bernal was doing a photo shoot that was in Muscle and Fitness, that was Dana Lynn Bailey right after she won Olympia, and Steve Kuklo. And so Rob Bailey comes walking into the gym, and I'm sitting there with Rob and Dana. Dana's doing this photo shoot, and I'm eating Chipotle with Rob Bailey. I don't know how many people are able to be able, not toot my horn, but like, again, one more time, I went and bought Chipotle for Rob. I was like, hey, can I have some lunch? I've had a mentor that was like, you need to ask every person you want to like get information for to lunch. It's the best buy you can do. So I bought Rob lunch and sat there, and we talked for 2 hours, and he started giving me the stuff that he doesn't tell everyone. And I just sat there and was like, one, his wife is everything that she is in fitness, but at that time they were growing a business. So I equally needed to listen to the business side. They were growing social media when social media wasn't really important at that time. So I listened there. I remember watching Rob's first YouTube videos of him and Dana, like on a selfie stick style, and realizing now where they're at with their business. Like when you're surrounded by people like that, it's not this honorable moment. It's literally look at where I'm at, look at where they're at. Just understand it's a moment of just soaking up stuff that you don't get elsewhere. The access is what was so important, that I am blessed to be able to say now I'm able to implement what I learned in my younger years by just realizing and kind of humbling, like I do want to be the worst person in the room, like the stupidest, the worst, like tell me I suck, tell me I fail, and then give me all the answers to make it better. Like there's no ego in the failure now. I love chasing that failure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Amen.
It's great. Yeah. It's great. So let's talk about the vegan thing.
Yeah.
I love it. It's there's obviously stigma behind it, that, with just being vegan in general, much less a bodybuilder.
Yes.
So talk about the decision to be vegan. Yep. and how you actually navigate that, because you hear all the things about how much more difficult it is without eating animal protein to build the type of muscle that you guys need.
Yes, I initially dealt with the mental stigma you just talked about, but I'm now a super heavyweight, so I'm really trying to push the weight side to be able to grow at a large point. So I was probably 270 pounds in off season 2 years ago, and I was really struggling with like joint inflammation, back pumps, like sleeping was really tough for me. I was doing cryo, I was doing massage, I was doing chiropractic, I was stretching, like nothing was giving me relief in something that wasn't soreness, something that wasn't rehab. I wasn't injured. I was just inflamed, really bad gas. You know, my digestive tract was just screwed up. My mom's on the full holistic side. She's an acupuncturist. And she was like, try vegetarian for a week. And I was like, thanks, Mom. And she's like 5'0" nothing, 110 pounds. Like, she's watched me bodybuild, but like, Mom, don't give me advice on my nutrition. And she was like, just try it, do the inflammation. In my head, I had done everything that people asked me, like, I'm not going to get enough protein. And, you know, I grew up in Dallas. So like, really it was like beef and what ounce count do you want? Like, that's just what the way that you thought of me. I want steak. What double digit do you want? Like, it was always just meat. And so I went vegetarian for about 2 weeks. I still did like eggs and some cheese and stuff like that. Did well, finally cut it all out. And it was like overnight, the inflammation just started dropping. I mean, I could range of motion increased, flexibility increased, cardiovascular increased. And now so much positive showed in my life that one more time I had to at least go, okay, something positive happened. I have to be open to now what happened. Like, I can't be closed-minded to, I was doing this lifestyle and feeling this. Now I'm doing this for a short period of time and feeling this. Give me more. So that was like maybe 30 days into it. The Netflix Game Changers had just launched. That was that kind of same time period for me. And I watched it on there, and I really enjoyed the way that they tackled the athlete side of the vegan world. This is the way a powerlifter does it, or this is the way a competitive cyclist does it. And so I one more time was like, okay, I have to dive into this more. There has to be more to this because I've felt success. Can this be done? And so I started, I mean, probably a little savant-ish, a little like obsessive. I just started diving. My wife's getting her master's, so I had access to like medical journals, and I started diving into medical journals, and I was like, where can I get complete proteins and where can I do this? And then I was like 6 months in, and I PR'd on all 3 dead, squat, and bench. I mean, it was just like, where is this coming from? This last prep, I did 500 for 10 reps, 2 weeks out from a show on squat. And I was just like, where is this coming from? Still vegan. And so I really loved what was happening, but was struggling with, you know, how do I still, I desire to be Olympia. I want to be on Olympia stage. So I'm in this, can vegan get me there? And so I really dove into the research of, now my vitamin regimen is almost as perfect as it can be. My protein is where I focus. I'm able to actually eat more calorically just due to lack of digestive inflammation or bloat. So that's increased, which has allowed me to gain weight in a cleaner way. Less fat, more lean muscle through my off season. Appetite is increased. I can't say I've just experienced so much positive towards it.
Yeah.
The lifestyle just encouraged me to keep going there. I will put a big like asterisk on it. H-E-B and Kroger, or my grocery stores, do make access easy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know if my grocery shopping would have gotten more difficult if it would have been easier for me to make the transition that I did. But my wife's also now vegan. So literally our grocery list had just changed. We went from meat to just vegan, and we made it almost overnight. So that transition was easy due to grocery shop access. Like, I hate to say that, but as bodybuilders, the grocery store is I have another mortgage at the grocery store. I should own part of HEB. And so it is, they do make it easy for the lifestyle change, if I could say that.
So let me share this with you, because me and Mark have had this conversation.
Okay.
So my wife's been a vegan for probably 3 or 4 years now. And she was vegan before it was cool being vegan.
Yes.
And back when the food tasted like cardboard, and she'd be like, try this. I'd be like, fine. And then I'd like put it in my napkin and throw it in the trash can. But, oh, that was good, honey. But when I finally got talked into doing 75 hard, Mark, I had to make a diet change. And my wife was like, you should go vegan. And that's when Game Changers was out too. And I watched that. And it's funny what you took away from it, because my experience has been the same, like the joint inflammation, how you feel, performance, all those things. But I'll be honest with you, when they talked about the part about the better boners, I was like, sold. Who doesn't want a better boner? So I was like, sign me up.
Yes. Yes.
So I've been probably about 80% vegan now. I still throw meat every once in a while, but man, like to your point with the joint inflammation and the performance, like you just feel a big difference in terms of performance and what you're doing. So it's cool to hear a bodybuilder, meet one that's going through that, because my goal isn't to be nearly as big as you, but to see you take that to the next level. And I think there's also some other bodybuilders that have gone vegan that are kind of like the poster child of it now.
Yes. Yes. I will say, I'm not ignorant to, and this is one that I heavily communicate, even what maybe our parents or our grandparents meat wise ate quality wise. Like my grandparents got beef from Farmer Joe down the way or a market. That beef had maybe been dead 48 hours.
Right.
And had a completely different life on Farmer Joe's farm, eating beautiful grass and experiencing, to where now our meat industry is just so overwhelmed that I don't think we eat the same types of meat that maybe 100 years ago they ate. Or Branch Warren used to talk about going hunting, and he would have a deer or a bison or an elk for a long period of time. I think that quality of meat is different than what we're buying in the grocery stores. And so if I was just to talk inflammation, just to talk about the things that I think we could talk about symptomatically, I think if you just got higher quality meats, you would experience similar things. Or if we just didn't eat, I mean, I was eating 3.5 to 4 pounds of meat a day. So there was just a constant fight of, I mean, my stomach bloat. I was discomfort, and then, fix it, and then discomfort and fix it, and digestive enzymes and probiotics. And it just never seemed to fix itself. And so whether it was the mass amounts of meat I was eating or quality meat, budget wise also, I mean, I was buying as cheap chicken as I could get. Like it wasn't, I mean, you look at Tyson chicken and it looks like a seal, like these breasts are like this big. And it's like, how did this chicken end up being 19 pounds? It's a turkey. Like those things I do believe have an effect on our body. If I was to talk about the holistic program that I desire to implement in my clients, I do think those things end up being stuff that we battle internally for sure.
Yeah, I agree. Even down to when you look at gluten issues that people have here, I've known people that they travel to Europe where the bread's made on the corner every day, and they go eat that bread and they have zero issues. They have zero inflammation. They have zero congestion, and they come back here and eat a piece of bread and it's all, it's back to all that crap again. So there's definitely, I mean, anybody that would deny that quality is different and that it doesn't affect things is just, I mean, it's ludicrous. I got a client that grew up in upstate New York, and kind of the same story of the cow. He goes, in the winter, grandpa went out and slaughtered a cow and we chopped it up and everybody got some, and there it was, and the milk came from that cow as well. So everything was just different. And, when you look at food allergies in the food allergy industry that we have now,
why has it done this over the last few years?
Yeah.
Like if you look at the 1950s, people didn't have food allergies. Like that wasn't a symptom of food. When I met my wife and we started talking about, inflammatory response from foods and what does this and gluten and things, she literally had this mental match that food just caused my stomach to hurt. Like as a little girl, she ate foods, Taco Bell, McDonald's, you name it, that when I ate, my stomach would hurt. Like that was just supposed to happen. And then when we started taking foods out of her diet that could be inflammatory, that constipation, the gas, the bloating went away. And people don't realize that. I don't think we stop enough to kind of put emotional connection to what we eat or feeling to what we eat or those types of things. And if we did, I think I really talk about that in my programming of like, how did it make you feel? And I think we have this like oh moment, but it's really like you ate this and then I started sweating and I got stressed. I was like, your food caused that. Like, we have to start paying attention to what goes in our mouth and how it makes us feel.
Yeah. Amen to that. I want to shift gears just a little bit before we wrap this thing up. I want to talk about your Authentik brand.
Please.
So let's talk about what that brand is, what you have, apparel, gear, whatever, and what the purpose is behind it, more importantly.
So my business is called Authentik. My Instagram page and the way I do things is my website is Live Authentik. And so when I came out with the business, one of the largest emotional struggles that I have kind of experienced for myself in this fitness journey is some self-love, self-image issues. I've got big old long dreads now and tatted and beard. And when I was younger, I wasn't any of that. And so I've worked on my self-love game for the last 10 years. And that was really important to me. Now as a coach, when I started experiencing clients, some of our fitness was actually really connected to some self-love stuff. Being able to just be okay with, Michelle's a perfect example of this. Like, she just posted a picture here recently of being in a dress or being in a sports bra for the first time and like loving what she sees.
Yeah.
And so when I started wanting to get to a point of, I wanted to do a business and coaching in a way, being authentic was just really important to me. I wanted to be the coach that, I hadn't always experienced from my coaches. And then I wanted to build a coaching platform that could provide people something that I haven't always experienced through that. So Authentik was just a way that I dove in, and I want to, and when I say life coaching, like, my job is actually as a coach to just make people empowered enough to make the changes that they want to see in their life, and whatever the freaking hell that is. Like, if it's fitness, great. If it's, I just want to love myself. If it, all the things, I just encourage so much for us to be able to empower other people to do stuff that maybe they didn't want to do initially or didn't think they could do initially. So that is why I did Authentik, and really what my business is about is empowering people to do awesome things, because I really do think people are really awesome. Like, we're really capable of some really awesome shit if you just get a circle around you that gives you good habits and keeps you in good line, and is able to give you positive reinforcement and know how to communicate, that empowers you and doesn't disempower you in a way. I've watched my clients kind of become butterflies. It's like they spend 3 months with me and they're just like this new, they like walk in the gym and they're light on their feet, and I'm like, what's going on? And they just like love life. And that's when I know I'm successful. The weight comes with it. I mean, a depressed person is hard to lose weight. It's hard to lose weight when you're depressed. And so if we can really empower the people around us, other competitors, colleagues, clients, you said about it earlier, being a network of business, supporting other businesses, for all of us to just be awesome stuff. I listen to a guy named Gary V. Y'all probably know who Gary V is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm right on board. I want to have the biggest building in the city. I just don't have to tear anybody else's building down while doing it. Like, that's really where I'm at in growing my business through Authentik. Apparel, yeah, we have shirts, and we've got we're coming out with shaker cups. I do a YouTube series where I dive into how we do things on Authentik, and I'm equally really wanting to move forward into the 6-week challenge. That'll be my next thing. Podcast will be my next thing. My website is somewhere we can definitely dive into, but business wise, it's just coaching. Any goal you want, I want to dive into, introduce the Authentik method into your life, and just see you. Let me sit in the back and just praise you.
Yeah. Just so if you're listening to this, we record these on Zoom so we can see each other, and I hope if you're listening, you can hear the passion in this guy's voice, because I say it all the time, the world needs more passionate people, hands down, about whatever it is, as long as you're not passionate about like crime or whatever. But when you're passionate about good things happen. And again, I just applaud you, Kenneth, for the way that you are conducting business, because you are exactly the type of person that our industry needs more of in order to really change people. You know, you've nailed so many of these points about it's so much more than how much you lift and how many calories you eat. Is that part of the equation? Absolutely. Is that what people are really here for? Absolutely not. Not one bit. And so it takes people like you that truly care. And I can see it in your face when you talk about it. I can see the care that you're giving. I can hear it in your voice. And I just fucking love it. So again, you know, kudos to you for just truly embracing who you are and then being willing to go out and share it with the world. I love it. I love it.
I wish more people did that. We need more of that.
Mm-hmm.
A lot more.
Yes, to give. In my marriage, I'm going to brag a little bit. My wife we just have a beautiful marriage. And I think it really is getting to a point. I just had a meeting with my counselor yesterday, and we regularly talk about, I find myself sitting back and I watched my wife at my sister's wedding a few weeks back, and I just sat back and was just like, God, you're a beautiful woman. Like, look at the way you're communicating and holding yourself and the way you're dressed and you're confident. I just sat back and was just like, wow. And then I watched one of my clients the next week do some really awesome stuff. And I was just like, wow. Like, when we get to a point of when we can, yes, educate or give information to these people to help them implement things in their life, I think that's so important. But then when you watch it be done, we should just sit back and just be like, I had a pro that just got done at Pittsburgh in Masters Nationals, and he got off the stage, and I just went over to him and I was just like, Tony, I'm so proud of you. Like, he's full-time job. He's a dad. He's a husband. He's all of the things, and still able to get it together and find success in fitness. Like, yes, what else should we do? Like, good job. That's great. Like, we need more of that. Michelle, watching you guys, like, you have interviewed some people who have done nothing more but go, this is what I wake up to do every day. It fulfills me. And now I want to give to the world. And Tony was that. Steve Kukla was that. I went to high school with Dante. Dante was the dude with the smile from ear to ear, 365. Whether he was going through things or not, I had no idea, but it was smile 365. And you're right. If this industry had more of that, like, I think it would be less about transformation pictures and more about just celebrating life, because it's hard sometimes. COVID's a perfect example of that. Like, it's going to smack you so hard. And if you're not ready for those smacks in life with a beautiful community and a power circle and empowerment through a coaching relationship or things like that, like, life can break us sometimes. Yeah. And so when we are a coach and we are one of those roles, money is great, but I think money is a consequence of an experience that I provide. Like, if I don't provide the experience, the money's never going to show up. It does not happen one without the other. And so thank you. I appreciate what you're saying and what you're doing it, but I would rather it be less of thank you for being, this is what we need more of. And I wish it was one of those things of like, this is what our community's about. Like, I want the change to happen. We should be less like unicorns, and it should be like, no, dime a dozen. You find quality people and they're amazing. Like, that's what we should be doing. And it is hard when I get on moments like this and somewhere like, I appreciate your passion. What the fuck else should we do? What, I'm supposed to wake up and dictator these clients or punish them, or like, no, like, what else would I do? Like, I want to spend more minutes doing what I'm doing and just stack up those minutes. Yep. That's it.
Yep. Awesome.
Shut up and just keep going. More minutes. And fulfillment or life or those types of things, it's one of the most beautiful moments when you put into somebody, you watch them put in the work, they get the results, and you get to sit back and just bask in their enjoyment of that moment. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. Yeah.
Amen to that. All right. So as we wrap this up, I have a couple of little rapid fire fun questions
Cool.
for you.
Yes.
So here we go. I got 3 of them for you. What was your favorite cartoon as a kid?
Tom and Jerry.
Ah, classic.
Yes.
Classic. I
Easy.
still want to know what was that the one where they show what the lady looked like? No, that was the Muppet Babies.
You only ever got like
Socks.
calves. Yeah, like stockings. That's all you ever got.
Yep. All right. Second question. If you could have any supercar and without concern of whether you fit in it or not, what would it be?
I actually really enjoy the old school H1s, like the Hummer, like just
the one that looked like the army was rolling into town.
Right?
Yeah.
The
Ronnie
promo
Coleman used to
car
have
of
one
choice
that-
for gyms.
Yes.
I've seen so many wrapped Hummers in my day.
So true.
Yes. H1 for sure.
Uh-huh.
All right. Last question. If you could have a billboard for the whole world to see,
Mhm.
what message would be on the billboard, sir?
My smile. It says enough. Yeah.
I love that. That is
Yeah.
great. Yes.
Because like I
That's probably the best answer I've heard on this show.
That's pretty damn good.
That's pretty good.
it just oozes out of me. Like when I smile, I just freaking like it just fires me up. And when you see a genuine smile like that, you're like, I don't know what the hell that person is doing, but I want to do whatever they do. It's like the most classic way of like that person. Yep, that's it.
That is fantastic.
I think it's also one of the easiest ways that you can see how genuine someone is. You can see a fake smile quick. And man, when you see one of those that just like right here, yes, smile for sure.
It's perfect. Kenneth, you have been a wonderful guest. We're very appreciative of your time and just sharing your story. I'll put all your links in the show notes so people can follow you and contact you and see all the cool shit that you're doing. You know, definitely keep us up to date when you're competing. You know, we're more than happy to throw that out there on our end of people to make sure you're getting the support from our community.
Thank you.
And thanks so
much. Can I ask y'all a question?
Sure.
Both of y'all, I kind of want a separate answer. What is being authentic to you guys?
You want to go, John? You want me to go?
Man, I've never had it flipped on us like this. So this is what this feels like.
So for me, being authentic is just being true to my core values. So I have 4 core values that I live by, and that's integrity, intention, empathy, and entertainment. And when I'm in alignment with those things in every area of my life, that's the most authentic me that there is, period.
I think for me, man, it's being who you truly are, regardless of the results of what you experience from other people. That's taken me 36 years to get to the point where I say what I say and I mean what I say, and how I talk to you on this podcast is the same way I'll talk to you outside, and the same way I talk to Mark is the same way I talk to my wife, and the same way I talk to clients. See where I'm going with this? I am who I am, good, bad, and ugly. That's authentic to me.
I love that. Both of y'all, thank you for that. That's everything I mean by it. It ends up, I love every time I ask people that, it's like the same answer in all of their own authentic versions.
Yeah.
Like it, and they take it like me. This is me. And I love that. I think it's a driving force. Authenticity, I think, is rare. I hate that, but I think it's rare, but it's beautiful.
Yeah. It's just exhausting to be anything else.
Yeah, it's true.
It takes more energy to frown than smile or something like that. It's the same thing with being authentic. It takes way less energy just to be yourself. Robin Williams joke from Aladdin.
Awesome, man. Well, again, Kenneth, thanks so much for being on. We appreciate you immensely. And yeah, this was great. This was lots of nuggets, lots of wisdom, lots of insight. Hey, John, you got anything for the folks?
Oh yeah, I've got something. Be like Kenneth and go get what you're worth. Yeah. Damn good show. Damn good.